What's up, college football fans? Welcome into College Football Now by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, I don't think this guy's story needs any introduction, but we are going to be discussing the transfer destinations for Nico Iamaleava, the former Tennessee quarterback. We've got a lot to talk about with him, but before we get into the show, if you are a die-hard football fan, any kind of football, whether that be college football, which we all know and love, or the NFL, make sure you hit that like button right now. It helps us put more content on your timeline and gives you all the best here from Chat Sports. All right, let's start with it. You guys know what happened just a few days ago. Pete Thamel reported this, that Tennessee is moving on from Nico because there were some NIL contract disputes. He wants $4 million. They were not willing to give it to him. He skipped out on practice, and the team said, that's it. So long. Sayonara. You're done, buddy. Well, here's what head coach Josh Heupel had to say about Nico, and he kind of answered this in a roundabout way. He wasn't very specific about the actual, when he was asked about Nico, he didn't call Nico out specifically, but he did say this. If it's going to happen, rip the Band-Aid too. At the end of the day, we got a lot of great work for the two guys that are here. We've got a chance to move forward as a program. It's unfortunate in the landscape of college football that it happens at this point. And that's kind of all he was really able or willing to say about the whole situation. And the truth is that this is now the landscape of college football. Right? We're going to see this more and more often, that you're going to see these hold-in type of seasons where guys who are very talented and we're getting a specific amount of money are going to be asking for more. Now, when it comes to Nico specifically, I don't think he was in any position after his 2024 season to ask for more money. I mean, these numbers aren't great. They're okay. And I wouldn't say that these are by any means not worthy of another starting gig. He absolutely is. However, when we're talking about the top-end quarterbacks that are heading into the NFL draft this year, Nico wouldn't even be in the top 5 of quarterbacks going into this year's draft. And this year's considered a very weak quarterback class. So enough about Nico, though, as the player. I don't think he was good enough to, ask for that $4 million. But the truth is that is his asking price, so we have to discuss the potential destinations for schools that he could end up playing for in 2025. The first one being the UCLA Bruins. He's a West Coast kid, and a little bit about UCLA last season. He is from Long Beach, California, so there is that hometown feel. They signed Joey Aguilar from Appalachian State for this year, so he's potentially going to be the starter, although I don't think they're necessarily tied to him full term. It's UCLA, they had kind of a down year. And last year, they hired Deshaun Foster prior to the 2024 season, so he completed his first year as the UCLA head coach. Now, like I alluded to earlier, he is searching for that $4 million per year in NIL. Now, UCLA would be one of the teams that does have that kind of money at their disposal due to just the pure size and stature of the school. I mean, everybody knows what UCLA is, from their basketball program to the beach lifestyle. UCLA is a historic college and university in the United States. But will they be willing to pay Nico to come and play quarterback for them in 2025? That's a different question. But if you think that Nico is going to head back to Cali, hit that like button for me. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button, because I'm going to do it the same thing. I think he is headed back to the West Coast, but we'll get more into that in just a second. The second one is not on the West Coast at all. It's actually on the East Coast, North Carolina. Bill Belichick, his new home for the 2025 and foreseeable future. Now, a little bit about the North Carolina Tar Heels last year. They had a pretty down season last year. They did hire Bill Belichick in December of this last year. And Duke, their rival, just signed Darian Mensah to a 2-year, $8 million deal. So, the money is kind of one of those, are they going to match it just to kind of keep up with Duke? My answer is yes. But if the money's right and the coach is right, the truth is that is the fit right for a quarterback of Nico's status? And the truth is that quarterback is not one of their biggest needs. Now, it would be a splash for Belichick to land a 5-star recruit like Nico is. I mean, let's talk about his traits here for just a second. He's long, he's lengthy, he can move outside of the pocket, has to get better and develop more inside of the pocket. But the truth is, when it comes to making splash plays, Nico can do it. Now, he regressed as the season went on last year, but as more time comes under your belt and more college football games are played, you're going to develop your skills as a passer, or at least you would think. But North Carolina makes the least amount of sense to me. I mean, there's no need for him. They've got 3 quarterbacks that they could absolutely fight for right now, including Max Johnson, who last year missed the majority of last season with an injury. So I think Belichick looks at this and goes, why would we pay for a guy that we don't need? And if we're looking at, North Carolina's schedule coming up for this year, you might think, okay, well, if it's a little bit harder, maybe you want to, land a splash quarterback to compete. It's not that bad. I mean, Richmond is a pretty much guaranteed win. Clemson's tough. You can beat Virginia. You can beat Stanford. Duke's always tough. But then you've got Charlotte, UCF, Syracuse, Wake Forest, California, and NC State. Now, by no means is this an easy schedule for a team of North Carolina's status, but I absolutely think you could squeak out 8 or 9 wins in this schedule. No doubt about it. So I don't think North Carolina makes sense from a needs perspective, although they might have the money to pay him. And of course, the coaching and the new program building at North Carolina is something that is certainly to be desired by young players everywhere. Now, coming up, the final 3 transfer destinations, according to Moose. Well, not just according to Moose, according to a lot of different people. But before we do that, I want to give a major shout out to our sponsor of today's video, and that is Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. And the NBA is starting their playoff stretch coming up here. And if you want to go see a basketball game, but not just basketball, it's all sports, theater, comedy shows, and concerts. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest prices guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Save up to 60% off by buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy events, and theaters. Just like I said, go to your app store, click that download button, the black G, or the black box with the white G in it, and use code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Terms do apply. It is Game Time, and you know that we have to say thank you to them. Lowest prices guaranteed. Okay, so the third one, Tulane Green Wave. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was talking to Mr. Producer Brett Alper, who's on the 1s and 2s today, and he was shocked that Tulane is on this list. But if you think about it from a getting to start perspective and kind of rebuilding your reputation and your stats, Tulane kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, they suspended their quarterback, TJ Finley, so there's a wide open position for QB1. Plays in the weaker American Conference, so the talent that you're playing is not necessarily the greatest. And with their coaching staff and the way that they run their offense, they average 35.1 points per game, which out of 134 qualifying schools ranked 16th in the nation. So if you've got an opening for QB1, if you've got an offense that can do it, and against worse competition, you might be thinking, if you're Nico, hey, this looks like a place that I can put up some pretty productive stats, and I think it's a great reset for Nico if he were to choose the Green Wave. However, there is one small problem. If the biggest issue has been money, and that's the reason that you didn't want to go to practice and why you held in at Tennessee, do you really think Tulane is going to be able to pay you $4 million a year? I mean, don't get me wrong, and there's nothing against the program, but I don't think they're necessarily shelling out the big bucks, kind of like these Power 5 schools. So as much as I would like to say that Tulane would be a great spot for him, if the money ain't there, Chief, Nico ain't going. And that's just the truth. On to our 4th school. I don't want to spend too much time on it because if the money's not right, like I said, it's probably not going to happen. Now, Texas Tech might be able to pay, and I do think that in an air raid offense, which Texas Tech runs, it would be good for Nico to learn how to play inside the pocket. They've got a brand new offensive coordinator in Mac Leftwich, and they went 6-3 in conference play last year. So they've got the weapons. competitive in their conference, new offensive coordinator, runs an air raid offense, can learn how to develop your skills as a passer. Patrick Mahomes played in this, so did Baker Mayfield. But the truth is, even if the money's there, their starting quarterback from 2024 decided that he is returning for the 2025 season. Baron Morton, after he injured himself last year, has said, yes, I am returning to the Red Raiders, and I will be starting in the 2025 season. Now, does that mean that if Nico were to sign out there that there wouldn't be a quarterback battle? Of course there would. But I think there's not going to be a single team on any of these lists that have everything that Nico is looking for. And I'll explain a little bit more in just a second. But the landing odds right now, according to multiple betting sites, have this as the top potential landing odds right now for Nico. UCLA leads the charge at plus 200, followed by USC, who, a little foreshadowing here, it's coming up next. North Carolina, Texas Tech, Colorado as a dark horse team, and Arizona State at plus 700. Now that bleeds into, excuse me, our final destination, the USC Trojans. Pardon me. Now, USC kind of blends all of the best of both worlds. So they joined the Big Ten in last year, so the competition's going to be great. They're playing ridiculous schools. Lincoln Riley is considered the quarterback guru, albeit not the greatest head coach, but he has produced multiple Heisman-winning quarterbacks. And the UNLV transfer Jaden Mayaava is Riley's expected starter. Is Riley's expected starter. But I can tell you from watching him play a few games last year, by no means are they tied to him as the guaranteed starter in 2025. And this kind of proves it. In only 7 games played, he was slightly above mediocre. I would give this like mid-plus if I could give that a grade. 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, completion percentage of only 59.8%. USC makes the most sense for Nico. I mean, that's just the truth. The coach is there. Players are there. Competition's there. The money is there. So what's the only thing holding this whole situation up? Well, truth is, I don't think USC's interested in Nico. Little Birdie told me, at least from what I've been reading, that they have no interest or intent of even talking to him about becoming the starting quarterback for the USC Trojans. So, unfortunately, I mean, like I said, that's probably the one that makes the most sense for him and probably the one where he wants to go the most because everything kind of blends together from a football perspective. But are they interested? Now, there's no guarantees. They haven't come out and said, we are not interested at all. But the rumor mill has said, yeah, probably not going to happen. Other long shot destinations include some of these schools right here, the Maryland Terrapins, the Oregon Ducks, the Colorado Buffalo to replace Shedeur Sanders, the Ohio State Buckeyes to replace Will Howard, and Syracuse Orange to replace Kyle McCord. So where will Nico play week 1 of the college football season? That is the question that everybody wants to know. If I had to put my money on it right this moment, I am going to say and stake my claim, and I'm going to say he's going to play for UCLA next year. If he can't play for the best team in Southern California, at least he's back in Southern California playing for the Bruins. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to subscribe, like this video. Our goal is 200 likes, and share this with a college football fan in your life. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool.